everyone. Emily, welcome. Tash Vanzetti, Discovery Coach and Mentor. I've invited Emily Aarons to join me today because we're going to talk all about impact and how we can create a much bigger impact in the world and stop playing really, really small with our ideas, because I've been a sucker for it. I know everyone else has been a sucker for it. And to be frank, I'm a little bit over it for all of our sakes. So, Emily, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I've got sunshine here, so I think you're a little bit rugged up over there compared to me.
Yeah, I like that your skin is glistening and I'm like bundled up in a turtleneck.
I was actually thinking, should I turn the air cooler on before I start? But there's a nice breeze coming through, so we should be okay.
Oh, good.
If I start to melt, I'll let you know.
Awesome. Are you broadcasting onto your? Oh yeah, I see it now. Now I can share it. Okay, cool. I'm going to share it onto my page and into my group as well.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm just going to quickly share it and make sure I can see it into my 100K group because, where are we? Let me just share into there, because there are so many nuggets that are going to come up in this conversation and I want everyone to hear about it. So let's just share away. Anyone coming in to watch this broadcast, then please share as well, because I think it's a really important conversation that we're going to be having. Actually, I don't think it is. I know it's a really important conversation that we're all having here. So let me just share that into my group. And I know you've done the same. Let me get back to the right screen. Cool. So Emily Aarons, for those of the people watching and coming into the replay and all of this, and we've got some live people coming on, so say hi as you're coming in, because I'd love to know who's here, and feel free to ask questions along the way. Nikki's here. Heather, hello. It's so good to have everyone coming in. So Emily, just give everyone a little bit of an introduction as to what you've been up to this past little bit and what you're up to right now, just so we can set the scene here, because I really want to dive into your journey and your story of impact in the last 12 months and beyond. Okay.
So recently, I think part of this whole conversation really stemmed because I just recently went away, and so I just joined a sort of like a high level mastermind, a lot of like big influencers, and I'm actually really relatively new to the online business world. So I'm a psychic business coach and I teach healers how to have a powerfully profitable business. And hey, cheerleaders. And so I went away for this mastermind trip. It was about 3 days of content and networking. And on the last day, one of the guest speaker was Lewis Howes. And
one of my faves.
Mine too. And it was funny because when he got there, I was like, there's Lewis Howes. Okay. And it didn't really like strike me as anything like special, only that he was like a giant, tall human. Like he's easily 6'5" tall. Like he towers over people.
Yeah, I can be 6 foot if I stand on a chair, but that's about as close as I get.
Right, totally. And like I even got a picture with him and he's like leaning down in the picture. And I'm like, he's still this much taller than me. But what happened was, as he was talking, I just felt like this huge surge of energy from his heart going out while he was talking about his mission. And like even talking about now, like I'm starting to get like chills on my arms, because his mission, and cut me off if I'm just like rambling, but his mission was is to impact 100 million people and inspire them. And he told us kind of like the long story of like how he got to that number and how, you know, a million seems like attainable, 5 million. So he went big. And basically the way that he orchestrates, organizes, runs his life, hi Vita, is essentially everything needs to be in alignment with attaining that goal, or in alignment towards getting that goal. And basically it's like the how is not important. It's just that I keep this vision in my mind. What an incredible mission. Yeah, totally.
And this is what I love about Lewis. Like I've been listening to his podcast, The School of Greatness, for a long time. I read his first book. I haven't read the second one yet. It's on my list. And I'd hear him say 100 million people. I want to impact 100 million people. And I'm like, man, that's big. And we would never really, I would often think, well, how the hell is he going to do that? And that's our problem, isn't it? First of all, I think we all cut ourselves off from having, oh my God, goosebumps, having the bigger vision. Like we start to think big and then we stop and we filter ourselves going, I could never do that. We put it all back on us. I could never do that. So we limit ourselves. We cut the vision off, like cut it in half potentially. And then we get, mistake number 2 is we get stuck so much on the how. Well, how would I do that? Based on my current reality and the skills that I have today, right here, right now, I can't see how that's possible. Therefore, I'm not even going to try. Yeah. And that's a mistake I made for a long time. And I know a lot of other people do. So I just love that you're sharing the fact that he's just a normal human being that just got over himself enough to think bigger and then to just drop the how and go and do that. Yeah. And I remember when you were sharing on our Voxer thread initially that, and then you've done it in a Facebook Live, how it was for you to meet him and to hear that and to have those conversations with him. Yeah. And I could feel it. Like I could feel that as well. And I could feel that in your voice. And that, that's what we forget, that an impact isn't necessarily building schools around the world or, helping people create $1 million businesses. Impact starts at the moment you have an actual connection with an individual person. And oh my God, it's got goosebumps.
Like, I know, the whole body just started.
And that's what we need to do. We need to realize that impact can start from the smallest, tiniest step forward, that smallest decision that we make, that today I'm going to change my life, someone else's life. I'm just going to change something. I'm just going to step up and show up and do something important. So do you want to share a little bit, I guess, on what impact means for you, maybe before and after your conversation and what unfolded?
Yes. Yeah, Misty, you're getting chills too. That's the thing. We call it truth chills.
So air cooler on. I can't even blame that.
Right. So what's interesting is, so there was this like kind of chalkboard sign that the question was, what are you going to commit to for the next year? Yeah. And we had to kind of come up in our own mind, like what we wanted to write on there, what we wanted to commit to. And so I wrote on there, I commit to serving at my highest level and being a channel of the divine to flow through me so I can serve at my highest level.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And I mean, to me, that means a lot, but I feel like maybe to some people it might not like resonate. They're like, whatever, serving at your highest level, whatever that means. But to me, serving at my highest level means I'm opening up, not just to be like good, but to open up consistently to go to higher levels. And I honestly feel like that mindset is what has 10x my business in the last year. It's got me into that room. And what's interesting is that's exactly what Lewis was talking about.
Yeah.
All he kept saying was the only thing that matters is that I'm serving at my highest level. So whether it's like, how can I add value to this podcast? How can I help you make more money? How can I help you lose weight? How can I help you? Like, it was always about serving about his highest level. And so I had the privilege of asking him this question, which was, is this, mindset of serving at your highest level, is that something that you've always had, like, for as long as you remember? Is this a new thing? And basically he said it's relatively new. Like, he used to only be caught up in like money. Hi, Sarah. And his ego and like fulfilling his ego and making himself feel really good. And, he kind of realized, I'm not going to impact millions of people if I'm just concerned about myself.
Yeah. So, and I think that's a mistake we all fall into, isn't it? We get so sucked into our own story and journey, and we make it about us instead of all the other people out there that we could potentially help and impact in some way. Yeah. We get sucked into our own, it's all about me. Bullshit. Yeah. It's not about you. It's about the greater good and that collective energy that if we all come together and we all try and make the world a better place in whatever way, and everyone's got their own path that they'll take, I mean, that's where the magic happens.
It's so true. I totally agree. And even just the commitment to helping one person every day.
Yeah.
And it's almost like we're so focused on, like, even if you think of like 100 million people, like, you're maybe so focused on like, 100 million people, well, I could never get that, therefore I'll stop now because I can't do it.
Yeah.
But that's crap.
It's the mind shit. Like, my term mind shit. It's, the mind shit is the stories we believe that keep us playing small. And we fall into that trap every single day. And every time we get this idea and we get stuck then in, well, how am I going to do that? And I could never do that. And we already talk ourselves out of it before we even begin. And that is the mind shit. And that's what we need to overcome. We need to get over ourselves enough to not worry about the how so much, but just to, again, serve at our higher level, do the things that do scare us and do them anyway. Like, because when you're going to step out and do something new, when you're going to learn something new, you're going to grow out of that comfort zone that you've been so cozy in for however long, it's going to feel a bit uncomfortable. You're going to get nervous. You're going to feel like a bit of an idiot. You're going to, stumble over X, Y, Z. But it's those people that keep doing that anyway and keep showing up that, make the change out there in the world. And just by you showing up and just by me showing up and someone else showing up, that gives other people permission to say that, hey, if they can do it, I can do it too. And, that's what I love about, chatting with you and chatting with other people is if we can just show people what's possible and that, hey, we don't have to have everything figured out to go and do something, then that gives them permission to do the same.
Totally.
Yeah.
And what's so funny? So, I mean, obviously you're a coach as well. And hi, Jenny. I hear constantly about how concerned my clients are with doing a Facebook Live and how it's like a death sentence and they're terrified. And basically I turn it around on them. So anybody in here watching, like, is anybody in here an entrepreneur or, has entrepreneurial aspirations? Because this is basically about being selfish. So when you go, okay, well, I can't do a Facebook Live or, I can't do these posts and I can't put myself out there because what if I say the wrong thing? What if I stumble on my words? What if I just totally blank? And all of those things are about me, and it doesn't matter about if you're look, my hair is in a put, I actually did mascara on.
Yeah. Put a 1 down in the comments. If you have stopped yourself, if one of your excuses has been, I'm having a bad hair day. Yeah. I don't look great today. So therefore I can't show up. Yeah. Because, at the end of the day, no one's going to, we're not focused on what you look like. We're focused on what you have to say and what you have to share. Now, that used to be one of my number one excuses until I just got over myself enough to say, I will do a Facebook Live now, hot and sweaty coming home from the gym or running around the lake with my bed hair in the morning. And the more we just show up and do it, we actually realize that, so that story I created that said the world was going to cave in when I did this thing didn't actually happen.
Right. Well, that's exactly it. So I basically say to them is okay, you're so concerned about yourself, but you're actually here to be of service to others.
Yeah.
So there is somebody out there that is praying for help and it needs to come through you. And if you are too self-absorbed and thinking of yourself, of how you look, and if you say the right things, that you're not there to stand up and give them the message that they've been praying for.
Yeah.
You're the only thing stopping the inspiration from happening.
Yeah.
So get out of your way.
One of the things we don't realize too is we don't know who's out there waiting to hear the message that we want to share. And I will often get people come back. I'll just do I have a thought I want to share and I jump on and share it. And thanks, Belinda. Makeup refuser. Thankfully, don't worry about that. So I will just have this thought that comes in. I will just share it. And then I will get messages from people saying, thank you. I needed to hear that today. Thank you. And I'm a big believer that when we're out there, if we open ourselves up enough, the right messages will find us when we need to hear them.
Totally.
So I want to be that person that if I need to share something or I realize something or I've learned something for the day, then I want to be able to share that with the right people that are out there waiting for that.
Yes.
And, we don't know who's watching. So just because you're not getting comments or, the so-called engagement on your views and the things that you're doing, I have so many people that come back saying, I've been following you for weeks. I've been following you for months. I've been watching you all year. And I love this. And you really helped me create X, Y, and Z. I've never heard of these people. And yet they're taking action on something because I showed up. And I see
how many people who are worried about their appearance. Maybe you're not worried about your appearance. What about you're worried about the haters?
Yeah.
Anybody worried about, oh my gosh, well, if I go on live, all these people are going to come on and then all of a sudden, they're just going to be criticizing me and they're going to be hating on me and making fun of me.
What are they going to say?
Yeah, put a 2 in if you're worried about what people are going to think of you. Yeah. I could just listen to your voice. I know, right? Tash has got the most beautiful voice ever.
Maybe she was talking to you, Emily.
Wasn't. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think, we just have to get over ourselves. Now, the other thing too is we think that our ideas and to create an impact in the world, that we have to come up with this amazing thing that is really going to change everybody's lives. And it's going to have this worldwide phenomenon before it to really matter. And I think that's a bit of mind shit as well. I think that we can create an impact in really small ways and just then allow that ripple effect to take over from there. So, when Lewis talks about I'm going to impact and inspire 100 million people, wow, that's a huge vision. That might not be your vision. Like, I want to know, for everyone in the group, if you've got an idea of what your vision will be, like, what is the thing that you want to wake up every day and work towards? What is the thing that you want to show up and do and create in the world? Now, for me, about, I think it was 12 or 18 months ago, maybe even longer, I don't know, I put a reminder in my phone that at 9 o'clock every morning, I have this reminder, I'm here to inspire people to go after their dreams. Now, it's a little bit vague. It doesn't, at the time I wrote, I'm like, I don't really know what this means. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But every day I'm reminded to help people and inspire them to go after their dreams, whatever their dreams are. It reminds me to show up every day and do that for my kids. My kids are 12 and 14. I want them to grow up knowing that they can go and create whatever reality they want. They can go up and create the future that they want to live in. And yeah, I get stuck in the mind shit some days. And yeah, I do fall back into old habits, but it's that constant reminder that if I can show up and inspire myself to go after my dreams, therefore I'm giving permission to other people to go after theirs. So yeah, I would love to hear from people, if you know what your big vision is as far as what you're going to do and show up to do each and every day.
Yeah.
Do you want to share on that, Emily?
Yeah. So, I kind of shared mine, which is my commitment is to serve at my highest level. And, beyond that, I love your voice too. My purpose here is to be the light so that others can shine their light as well. And what that means to me is, like, basically it's not about me. It's about me doing whatever I can each and every day to, like what you said, to inspire other people. But what I want to do is see this ripple effect. I want to shine my light so that you shine your light and then other people shine their light. And then it's like, it just duplicates and replicates over and over again. I want to get back to that what other people think of you thing.
Yes.
My sole purpose. Yes, Deb. The whole thing about worried about, like, the haters. So the truth is that haters don't hang around to, like, hate on you on Facebook Lives. You might get, like, weird gremlins here and there, but, like, they don't hang out. Like, the only people who, like, give you their time and attention are usually ones who love on you. This is what's my personal experience of doing hundreds of Facebook Lives. Yeah. And really, like, the people who are worried about, putting themselves out there, again, it's not about you. It's about the people who need to hear from you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one thing that Lewis was basically echoing over and over and over again. It was just like, I want to help the most amount of people the fastest. What's the quickest way I can do this? So the channels that he uses are ways that he can hit those big numbers.
Yeah.
And so that's it. It's like, if my mission is to be the light so other people can shine their light, I need to be visible. Mm-hmm. I can't sit in the dark hiding by myself and, like, sending out, like, 1 or 2 emails, like, a year and, like, hoping that I'm inspiring people. Like, my job in this world, on this planet, is to be visible as much as possible, because as soon as people can see me, it's turning the light on. And I'm doing the world a disservice if I'm not doing that. So it doesn't matter if I have makeup on or my hair in a ponytail.
Or you do a Facebook Live, after a red-eye flight, which was, I love that the other day, that you're like, yeah, I haven't slept. I've come from the plane. Here I am.
I did.
And when we show up as ourselves, again, we create the impact of allowing other people to show up as themselves as well. And the visibility thing is a big one. I know that visibility has been a big block for me for a long, long time. I'm getting better. But I've realized, again, hiding behind my laptop, doing work with a few clients here and there is not going to help me achieve the goals that I have. When I show up and when I work on my own visibility blocks and when I help other people work on their visibility blocks, it's amazing what can come out of that. Like, me creating these interviews and doing these Facebook Lives 12 months ago, probably wouldn't have done it.
Well, I
I
have to reflect your light back at you as well, because I mean, it's fun to talk about these things in theory, but in actuality, in reality, I remember when Tash first had the thought of 100K in 100 days. And
yes, that little pearl out.
it was on the tail end of like gloom and doom and like shit ain't working right now. And she said, well, you know what? There's this little idea that keeps bothering me. And we're like, okay, what is it? And she says, it's this idea of 100K in 100 days. And I have no idea how the heck that can happen, or who would even sign up for that, or like how it would work. And basically all of us were like, what? This is amazing. And she's like, it won't leave me alone. It hasn't left me alone. This is the first time I've said it out loud. And like all of us were like crying and excited. And it just went like.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I shared that idea. I hesitantly shared that idea. If I have this nagging nudge to do some sort of challenge for 100K in 100 days. Now, originally that was a personal challenge for me, and I said to it, it's a challenge for me. I'm just going to go do it and document the process and then share it, which in other words, that relates to this is never going to see the light of day, people, this idea, because that's how we hide. We go do it ourselves. We perfect it. Then we share it. And what you guys lovingly did was nudge me out there and say, no, more people need to know about this. So before I could talk myself out of it, I did. I showed up. I did a Facebook Live. I shared the crazy idea. I didn't have all the how figured out. I didn't even have a sales page. I had nothing. And within a week, there was 55 people in the group on the journey with me. And I tell you what, that just creating that space for people and showing up and figuring it out along the way has been amazing. And it's allowed me to have an impact on people I would never, ever have come across before. And then they can, by them showing up, they're able to have a bigger impact on other people. And so the ripple effect continues. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. Thank you for that reminder. We just need to, when we get these ideas and this inspiration, we need to act on it and we need to go and do it and take some step forward before that self-criticism and that doubt and all that inaction sort of takes over and, squishes the idea back down to nothingness.
Mm.
So
that's awesome. I might have trouble even Snapchatting my kids.
Yeah, I tell you what, Snapchat I don't get. I open up a Snapchat every now and then from my younger siblings, and occasionally I ask my son how to use it, and he just rolls his eyes, going, "Ugh, Mum, again, really?"
Yeah. Well, and like in terms of taking inspired action, I think that's really the key. And for me, what's happened is I kind of have learned after so many times of just like blind trust in whatever this intuition is telling me, just like you just trusted your intuition and boom, 55 people signed up.
Yeah.
Is that when I get these nudges internally in my body, in my thoughts, sometimes it comes from friends and they'll say something. I'm like, wow, like, thanks for opening up to that possibility, because it wasn't even in my consciousness before you said it.
Yeah, so, I love it when that happens.
Yeah, so you just said it to me, and I'm like, okay, I'll open up to that, and I'll just sort of see how it starts to marinate, and how, and I don't go into like, how is it going to happen, blah 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 blah. I just go into like, all right, so this is going to happen. Great. Yeah. I love that this is going to happen. One of our friends, Bronwyn, we were all talking, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to have the end of this program, and then they'll have to wait 6 months, and then they'll start this mentorship program later. Like, how is that going to all work? And she's like, well, do you have to start it so late? Like, can you just do it sooner? And I'm like, I could. Like, it's like somebody just goes, woo, and all of a sudden you can see. And then somebody inside the group said they were thinking about starting it sooner. And then I talked to this astrologist coach, and she said you could probably start it in April. And I was like, okay, that's it. It's coming in. It's coming in April. I can't stop it. It's coming.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. It's really important for us whenever we're trying to do anything and create anything is to be open about what we are thinking about. And not waiting until it's perfect, and not waiting until we have that perfect articulation of what this next idea is. Because when you start talking about it and having those conversations, again, all this other information finds you and helps you connect the dots and helps you put the pieces in place and helps you, you know, take the steps. Like I'm always saying, you know, you've got to think really big, but you've got to start really small, because you keep thinking up here, it's too overwhelming, it's too much. We don't do anything about the idea. It just swims there in the next year, next month, next week, whenever, the day that never comes. But when we start taking that next little step, and I've proven it again and again, because I used to think that this was all bullshit, that when I do take that next step, the next one, like the next piece of the puzzle will show itself.
Yeah.
But we sit here right back here going, when I see the full path and every single step I need to take, then I will start. And that is so us about in what we need to, you know, how we need to show up and do these things.
Totally. I would love to hear from you guys. What is the one thing that's keeping you from stepping into your big goals?
Yeah. So Sarah's saying here, like Emily does help you look past the how. And I think that's one of the biggest hindrances that we face is we want to know how. Because we've come from a corporate career or build a business and all of those kind of things. We're so used to knowing exactly what to do. We're so used to having all the answers laid out, having this framework of how we have to run things. And when we can't, you know, start to run our own businesses, we have to figure all those pieces out. And we have to trust that we'll find our way as we go. There is no framework. There is no job description for what we have to do. There is no strategy like this blueprint that we all search for. We have to create our own. You know, I wrote an article ages ago. We don't, you know, stop looking for the blueprint and create the you-print. You have to figure this out. You can take inspiration from everywhere, but you have to figure out the way and a style and the avenue that's going to suit you, the way you want to show up, the way you want to be, and the way you want to serve people.
Yeah.
So, Litsa, thank you for being brave there. Lack of self-confidence. Yeah. So that's the thing, you know, confidence comes from knowing it's okay to be a work in progress. And yet we all think that when I have all the answers and when I've nailed it behind the scenes in whatever way, then I'll be confident. And we have to realize that that's, again, we only get confident by going up and showing up and then taking each lesson on board and moving forward with that.
Right. So self-doubt and self-confidence are the things that keep you back. Okay. So just for fun, close your eyes. This is, I'm a planner and I could plan for years. Just taking action now is how I have to be. Yes. Okay. So just close your eyes and imagine what it would feel like if I didn't have that self-doubt or lack of self-confidence. What would that feel like in my business? If I didn't lack, if I didn't have the thought that I have self-doubt, if I didn't have self-doubt, what would I then do? What would then be possible? Who would I be if I didn't have self-doubt? Because that's what it takes. That little tiny minuscule shift in your mindset of thinking it's something else is possible. Because if you're basically saying like, okay, so I can't move forward in my life, my business, if I have the self-doubt, but I have the self-doubt and it's right here and therefore I can't powerhouse. Okay, great. Thank you, Deb. That's the thing.
That, you know, saying I'm not confident yet, I'm doubting myself, I don't know the answers. Like this is all the mind shit. These are the stories that we create and that we believe that keep us down here.
Yeah.
And I think we need to create a new story. And like you said, picture ourselves and say, what's really possible? Also think back to the times that you have gone and done amazing things, because we forget in our lifetime how many amazing out of the world things that we've actually done. So for people that are starting their own business, think back to when you were in your corporate job and your previous career. And, you know, would you lack confidence when you showed up at a sales meeting in your organization in your corporate job? No, you'd go kick ass. You know, that's why you were successful doing what you were doing before. But when we come and do our own thing, we feel like that we don't have that confidence, because that confidence potentially we think it's wrapped up in the brand we worked for, the company we worked for, the career that we had. And we're starting down at ground zero, a lot of us. And we think, well, once I've got all the success, then I can be confident again. No. You can tap back into the confidence you had, the things that you've done throughout your life and your career, and just plug back into that and say, you know what, I'm still the same person. I created all that success in the past. I can create it again. It's just something new that I have to learn as I go.
Totally. And in truth, I think a lot of the people who we look up to, we think, oh, they're so confident. They've got it all together. They've got it figured out. Like, look at them go. Behind the door, behind the scenes, they are feeling the same insecurities that everybody else is feeling. It is not something you just grow out of. In fact, for me, what I've noticed is that the more risks I take and the more uncomfortable I make myself, the more impact I have on people, the bigger leaps I take in my business, the more people resonate with what I'm doing, the more people I'm inspiring. I don't want to feel safe and like totally comfortable and confident every single day. That's not my goal. My goal is to just show up. Look, all these comments are coming through. I can't even read them all.
Yeah, so Litsa's saying, I would be walking tall, be happy to push back and select my clients and charge premium pricing for my skill set. Exactly. So Litsa, you have an amazing skill set. You have so much expertise and such an amazing perspective on the way that you bring your knowledge to the businesses you work for. And you just need to remember that. And you need to go and, be more confident when you're doing that. But it just comes with practice. I think we just have to realize that, like you said, no one has their shit together. Like some of us out there might have bits and pieces figured out, but at the end of the day, no one has everything figured out. And everyone is scared in some way, shape or other. And if you're not scared, if something's not scaring you, then it's not important to you and you're not trying hard enough. Like you're not thinking big enough.
Yeah.
Because once you're in that, this doesn't hurt, this doesn't scare me, I feel fine, then you're just playing it's really safe, like really safe. Or you're going down a path that's easy rather than one that's really going to create an impact and really going to create the life that you really want to have. Yeah.
So can you guys make a declaration on here in writing of who you are going to be? Because it sounds like you guys are ready to be unstoppable, badass women in your business. Yeah. So let's hear it.
Yeah.
Who do you want to become?
State it here and we keep you accountable. That's the thing I love about this thing. And when we're doing these, when we're creating these businesses, these ideas, the impact, all these things we want to do, the other thing I will say is don't try and go solo on it. Don't try and do this alone, because when you sit there in your own thoughts and your own stories, you will just talk yourself out of it before you even begin.
Totally.
And because I've got people like Emily that I check in with regularly, and other people in my mastermind and other people in my groups and in my world that I'm constantly checking in with, so they can keep me on track. They can call bullshit on my excuses. They can give me that different perspective that sometimes I need. They can give me the guidance or the bits of information that I might be missing and all of those things. So when we try and fly solo and we try and do this by ourselves because we're too scared to say, actually, I don't have my shit figured out, then you're just digging a hole for yourself, rather than imagine who you could become if you surround yourself with amazing people, you get out of your own way and just keep moving forward.
And you know what, to that point, I have had so many people, I think you included, so many people comment to me that just in the couple of days that I went away, that something in me changed.
Yeah.
And I've heard it from so many people that it's like, it's kind of crazy, because I was only there for 2.5 days. And yet people are like, wow, like you're fully in your power. You were totally serving. I had a Facebook Live. It was an energy clearing, a money bot clearing on, I think it was Monday. And it was my most highly attended Facebook Live. And it's had more shares and more like stuff. And it's because I think, in my opinion, I stepped up to serve at an even higher level, being around people who are serving at such a high level. And so if people who are watching this live do not have, and I think it's all women on here, so if you don't have a sisterhood of women who are in business and are supporting you in your mission to help lift you up, like what Tash was saying, I think you're doing yourself and your business and all of humanity a disservice, because like Tash says, like we all get so down on ourselves, and it's so easy to just like get sucked into our ego, or like Tash says, your mind shit, and then be like, oh, who am I to do this?
Yeah, we get stuck in all the things that we haven't figured out yet, instead of realizing, embracing all the things that we have figured out, all the value that we have, the knowledge that we have, the perspective, the experience, all of that amazing stuff that we've accumulated over a lifetime. We forget about all of that and we just sit here and wallow in the, I don't know how to do this bit yet. I'm not ready for that bit yet. And, being in a really supportive community will help you flip that around. And I think, so Litz is saying, I want to have 3 ideal clients, people whose vision and value is aligned with mine and value my expertise enough to pay me what I believe I'm worth. Yes, yes, yes. Right, Litz, we're going to make that happen. That is going to happen for you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing too is when you said things have shifted for you, or people have said things have shifted. When you surround yourself with people that have done what you want to do, you do see that it's possible, and you do step it up because you want to not necessarily compete with them, but you want to catch up because you can see, my God, they've done this, and they're just a normal person like I am. They've just taken a few extra steps through the fear that I'm yet to take yet. So I think that's the other beautiful thing of, sorry, I've just cut your head off there, Emily, with Rebecca's comment. So she's saying, I'm going to be a woman of action, a woman who runs the day like my dreams are coming true, a woman that knows by showing up each day to my highest level, I can impact and help those that are praying for what I can offer. Yes, amen to that. We have to find the thing that's right for us. And I think something you mentioned in your Facebook Live you did the other day, Emily, on your page, was when Lewis talked about, the how versus the vision, that you've got to have a really strong vision. So when you wake up each day, you can figure out, okay, I don't need to know all the pieces. I need to know what I'm creating, and then everything else can fall into place.
Totally.
So do you want to share a little bit about that, like the power of having knowing what you're working towards?
Yeah, it was so good. So basically every day he kind of wakes up and it's like, okay, what's my vision? Which for him, it's impacting 100 million people, inspiring them. Okay. And then he goes into, all right, what's the strategy that we're using right now? And then he schedules his whole day.
Wow.
So he basically is like, if your day is not scheduled so that you can have the biggest impact every single day, then you're misusing your time.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I totally screw around on Facebook sometimes, or I watch little videos, but really I wish I could have asked him even to go in deeper and to really show how he chunks out his time. Because he was saying things like, I have free time. I have a few hours of free time. I'm like, what? Everything is really scheduled. And it is in order to really have that arrow pointing towards the target at all times.
Yeah.
At my highest level, impacted 100 million people. The end.
And that's the thing. When we schedule it, we're more likely to get it done. When we wake up going, so what should I do today? And we get distracted by all the things.
Yeah.
Nothing gets done, does it? You get another week in, another month in, another quarter in, and you've really not achieved much at all. You've been busy. You've watched a lot of videos. You've checked out Netflix. You've surfed Facebook. You've done all the laundry and all the other chores that are waving at you. But it doesn't take, and that's the other, I think, misnomer, is it doesn't take all of your time to create this impact if it's a channeled approach, like if it's like a focused approach to what you're going to do. You don't have to work 10 hours a day to make it happen. But if you know exactly what your steps are and you can cut out all the other noise around you and all the other distractions, just get that bit done, that's when change can happen.
Totally.
I've done, when I think back to, I'd have my pity party days when I'm like, shit, I'm not getting anything done. I'm useless. I can't achieve anything. And then I would remind myself of the different things I have done. Like I went and raised $100,000 in 2 months for a friend, for her daughter, for cancer treatment, which then became a foundation, which then became, we helped 24 families. We raised $500,000. Now, I didn't wake up each day going, okay, so maybe I should do something about this today. Maybe I'll get to it tomorrow. I had a deadline. I knew what I wanted to create. I didn't know the how. My original goal was $5,000 to pay for some flights to Germany for treatment. And within 2 months, it had just gone because I woke up every day knowing that my goal was to raise money for this cause. It was important to me. I wanted to help them. And I just showed up and I put myself out there and I did what I had to do. And then everyone came on board. Like I didn't individually go and raise 100,000, but starting that journey, everyone came together. I was getting calls from the globe to contribute and it was amazing. Blew my mind. Yeah. And that's one little example of things that if we get out of our own way and just say, what's my vision here? What am I here to do? I don't have to know how I'm going to go and do this, but let's just show up each day and step into that. That's when you can make have a real impact in the world.
I agree.
So Deborah Ann's saying, I'm putting that in my calendar. How am I going to impact others
in the world?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, just ask yourself that question every single day. Like put the reminder in your calendar like I do. 9:00 every morning, I get my reminder. So if I think I'm going to swan around for a bit or do whatever, some days I still do that and that's fine. But I have to make sure that each and every day I'm showing up to help inspire other people to go after their dreams, be it my kids, be it my own life, go after my own dreams, other people's, you know, I figure out the how, and I would do that as I go. Yeah. I was having a conversation with someone earlier, someone I met with this morning wants me to come and speak at a conference that he's running later in the year, which was awesome. You know, any speaking opportunity, I love doing those things. Live events, you know, they're my jam. I love it. He was sort of saying, you know, people are so scared to collaborate. People are so scared, because he said it's all about change management and collaboration. He said people are so scared to collaborate. They're so scared to put their hand up and say that, you know, if I put an idea out there, I'm going to get in trouble. Someone's going to say something. So they shrink down and they see, you know, they play really small and they follow the rules that have been there for way too long instead of trying to change something and move around. So that's the other thing too. Don't be afraid to ask for support or ask for help. If you've got a big idea and you can't see how it's going to happen right now, then it's okay to collaborate. It's okay to get other people on board to help you, to support you, to cheerlead for you.
Totally.
You know? Yeah, and we think, oh, you know, I can't collaborate. Someone might steal my idea. There's not enough to go around. If I collaborate with someone, they'll want to go and work with them and not with me.
It's a scarcity mentality. Like, that's all it is. People, I mean, I used to be a massage therapist, and I mean, there's a million bajillion massage therapists. It's like technically there really is no competition. Like, you are your own individual. So I want to talk about Maribeth. She said, it's hard for me to get over the how. So here's my tip for how to get over the how. Okay. It's have a goal so clear that you keep it in your mind. So for me, last year, my goal, which Tash can attest to, my goal was to hit $10,000 every month.
Yeah.
Okay. So January of last year, I was making about $1,000 a month. And I said to myself, I want to make $10,000 in a month.
I'm happy you want a business. I like it.
Well, online. Yes, in an online business in an honest way. And that month I made $1,000. And then the next month I was like, all right, here we go. $10,000 month. Here we go. Woo, woo. And I think that month I made like $2,000. I was like, I doubled my money. The third month, I think I went up to $4,000. So as I kept this vision clear as day in my mind, it was like, I don't care how it's going to happen. I'm just going to hold this container for it to be filled with what I desire. And money is only energy. It's all it is. It's just energy. So if I am saying I'm open to receiving this and I can tolerate receiving $10,000 this month, it's not coming because like I'm doing, you know, it's coming because it's coming through me, because I'm opening to receive it. And what I'm saying to the universe is I'm ready to serve at a higher level to help people, so that amount of money is the direct reflection of how many people I'm helping.
Yeah.
Can I tolerate helping hundreds or thousands of people? Like, yeah. So long story short, the $10,000 month didn't happen in the first 6 months. But by month 7, not only did I make $10,000, I made $20,000. It was actually $26,000. You witnessed it. I was like, I think I'm going to hit $10,000 this month.
And then you hadn't even done the numbers right. So I think you'd sort of cut what you were getting in half. And then we sort of corrected you and you're like, oh, I've just done 26,000 this month. Oh my God.
It literally was like I was like 7,000 maybe the month before, which was like amazing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, I just got hit by a Mack truck. And I was like, not only did I hit it, I more than doubled it. And not only did I more than double it, but the previous year I had made more in that month than I made the entire previous year. So amazing. It's like, all you need to do is open for your goal to come true. And if you're just like, I want to make more money, like, get fucking real and make a specific goal and be open to receiving it. Don't worry about how. Be committed to serving at your highest level. Totally let go of like how it's coming to you, and just let it come in. Because the way it came in is like, I didn't know I was going to lead a retreat. I didn't know I was going to have a mentorship. Like if you asked me last January, I would have been like, how could I possibly do that? I'm selling sessions for $120 an hour.
But that's the thing, isn't it? When you know what you're working towards and you're showing up, like, how can I help people today? How can I show up and really serve the people that I know I want to have an impact with? Yeah. And then the other stuff unfolds. It shows itself along the way. Like I didn't go into December knowing I was going to run 100K in a 100-day challenge.
Exactly.
That was not on my agenda at all.
Right.
And yet it opened up, the opportunity was there. And, you know, we still have to take inspired action. We can get all the nudges in the world. You still have to move into it and figure it out as you go. You still have to start the process, but don't wait until you've got the whole process figured out. Take the first step and then you take the next step and you get feedback and that's the thing. I love that, Emily, that reminder that you have to stay really open, because when you close yourself off, when you get so narrow on, I need to figure out the how first, you can't see all the bells and whistles and all the shiny, the hellos.
The how is in the past, because the how is what you've already done, and the how is what's kept you broke. Yeah. It's what's kept you here. It's what's kept you broke. So if you want something different, this is what actually something James says, is what got you here won't get you there.
Yeah, exactly.
So all I kept thinking was, I got to do everything differently. I got to do everything differently, because what got me here and what kept me, because I mean, I was making that kind of money for like 15 years, like just scraping by. And, you know, maybe I'd have like an awesome month and then it would all go out and I would be totally out of alignment. And I would start going like, well, how did I do it before? And I would just keep doing the same things that kept me on the hamster wheel, instead of going like,
yeah. I mean, we create these beliefs and we create these habits that they're so ingrained, we have no idea they're actually there. Yeah. And we get the idea, we talk ourselves out of it, we overthink it, we do all the things we normally do, we play really small, and hey, look, presto, same result a month later, a quarter later, a year later. So yeah, it's really important that we do get the right people around you to say, hey, you know what, let's try this. Let's look at this. Just give it a go. Like the girls did to me, was in December. Tash, that is not just a challenge for you. People need to hear about this. And I was so terrified doing that Facebook Live, sharing that idea publicly. Like it was hard enough to share it in our private little group of 6 or 7 people, that I was sweating so badly. I was so nervous, excited, exhilarated, all the things. I had to go and change my shirt after the video. Like it was sopping wet. Wow. I was on such a high, because I thought, oh my God, it's not just me. Like I can help. And that's the thing. It's not about me. I can help so many people. Let's do this together. Like that would be amazing. Let's do this together. And it's so much more fun doing it as a group than trying to sit there in my own little, you know, wilderness and trying to figure things out as I go. Yeah. So Deborah, you ladies are really impacting me tonight. I've listened to you both before and I follow, but feel like you both have shifted hugely recently. I feel a burst of emotions. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Yeah, that's the thing. When you keep showing up and you just keep doing your thing and doing what's important to you without knowing how, without having to have an end game in the, you know, like I want to do interviews. I want to share stories of people. I love Emily's journey. I love the impact that she had when I heard her story about Lewis and just, you know, playing a bigger game. And I went, you know what? I want to share it. It doesn't have to be anything. I just want to share it. I want to have the conversation. So we're doing it. Like it doesn't, that's the thing. The next step doesn't have to be your end goal. The next step is just the next step. So Maribel's saying, yes, I don't want the next 5 years to be like the last 5. One of the reasons I will jump and start my biz. Absolutely.
And I think the last thing I want to say, I mean, the thing that I actually haven't said yet is when Lewis was talking, I mean, when he answered my question, he made me feel like I'm the only one in the room. Like he was like locked in, eye contact. It was like remarkable, because most people like kind of scan the room when they're talking, and he didn't. And when he spoke, even to the group, what he spoke about and how he wanted to impact people, it came so deeply from the heart that I felt it in my body. I felt it so deeply that it started making me well up with tears. He was talking about how he just got back from Guatemala, building a school, and how much that meant to him, and like what it meant to put this message out. Like what he said, the way he said it, and what he actually like sent out from his heart, it was like the whole room was exploding. And literally I just kept welling up with tears and like kind of like sucking them back in, like don't bawl, right now in front of Lou's house. And it was so overwhelming. And I don't know if anybody's had the pleasure of being in the room with somebody who's just so passionate that it like lights them up. But like, that's literally what he did to the space. It's like, you could feel it with all of his heart. His heart just was exploding. And to come from a white man, like, that's kind of awesome. Like a man who's so heart-centered, it was super cool.
Yeah. I think he's changed so much in the past few years. I remember watching him early on, when he was just doing LinkedIn and things like that. Yeah. And he's completely shifted. And I think it takes that big shift to have that huge impact, but that only starts with those really small steps that we take. Mm-hmm. And one other thing I just that came up with when you talked about the schools is there was a podcast interview I listened to with James Wedmore and Stu McLaren, and I'll put it, I think it's episode 98 or 99. I'll put a link in the comments here.
I know the one that you're talking about, I think.
Yeah. And what really grabbed me and really just shook me inside to my core was that, Stu McLaren was talking about the business he was creating. He'd sort of tap out at like 300K every year. Like he just couldn't get past that. And he realized there was this story about, got to work hard and I don't deserve this. My parents worked hard and they had nothing. And he sort of went away and realized he was traveling away and wanted to help. I think it was in Africa somewhere, wanted to help, fund a teacher at a particular school. And he said, how much, would it cost for me to fund a teacher to help these kids, bring another teacher in? And the guy said $100 a month. I think it was $100 a month or $100 a year. And he's like, oh my God, I have to sell one of my products per month to fund a teacher for an entire school.
Yeah.
Goosebumps just talking about it. And his whole mentality around making money shifted because it wasn't about him and his limitations and his limiting beliefs. It was about the impact that he could have on other people.
Yeah.
The bigger his business did, the bigger impact he could have globally, and the thing important to him. So I'm going to invite you all to listen to that episode. I think it's amazing. I get goosebumps every time I talk about it. And, that's been a huge thing for me is, how can I make this not just about me? Because when it's about me, I get stuck.
Yeah.
When I make it about other people, there's so much more value in that.
Didn't he say something like most people, like they commit to donating 10% of their proceeds to charity, but he said, well, what if we could live on the 10% and donate 90%? I was like, what? I love this man.
Yeah, like it's just such an amazing shift in perspective as to what's truly possible. And his business has just like exploded since that. Like it's such an amazing way. And how cool is that to live in a world where you've got people willing to contribute so much for the greater good of others rather than just, and they have a pretty good life, as they're not living on the street by any means.
No.
But yeah, again, it's just that shift. How can I shift things up to really shake up my current reality to what's possible going forward? So people remember how you made them feel. You were so describing how true that is. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to wrap this up. This has been an absolute blast, and I hope everyone jumping on to watch us live and anyone coming back for the replay, please let us know that you are here. Share your thoughts. Let us know what the vision is that you want to create and how you want to show up in the world. Like, who do you want to become? And I think that's the thing. Hold that vision tight. And like Emily said, when you hold that vision close to you, you show up each day and step into that. Don't let that vision scare you. Just let it encourage you to be that best, higher version of yourself. So anything you want to leave us with before we go, Emily?
Well, I think that honestly, holding that vision and realizing that the fact that you had the thought to have that vision, it means you already have it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in the energy around you. It's in the universe. Like the fact that you had the idea, it means it's already yours. So it's just a matter of opening up to just letting it come in easy.
Yeah.
So thank you, Tash, for having me. So good to talk to you.
Oh, I could chat all day, but I'm going, we probably should wrap it up soon. We can do it again, I'm sure. So thank you, everyone, for joining me. Thank you, Emily, for staying up to chat with me tonight. I've had an absolute ball, and I really want us to create a huge impact in the world. But again, think really big. Start really small and just embrace that ripple effect that you're going to have by showing up as your best self each and every bloody day. Okay, no excuses, no more mind shit. All right, lovelies, I will talk to you soon. See you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.